It's Nikki. I am back. I am going into part two of this behind the scenes series today and really talking about my personal brand, my business, decisions that I've been making, and like things that have been coming up to the surface. And I think it's often, if it's not always relevant because sometimes you need to process it and work through it, and it's enough just to be in your mind, body, and soul, let alone be helping other people. But I feel good about this, so I feel like I can share it and give you a bit of kind of live timing with it. But making these decisions and working through actively what the next chapter of your business and life looks like, I think is a really important exercise. I've never just been somebody who can just wait and see or hope for the best or just say fingers crossed. I always want to keep meeting the universe, or however you like to refer to it, halfway. I want to show up. I want to do the things that I want to do. I've always said as well, I'm a really impatient person. So the thought of waiting for somebody else to pluck me from obscurity, or like one of the things I've often said about my acting career is that I cottoned onto the fact very early on Steven Spielberg did not have my landline. And that's where we were at that time. We were in terms of landline numbers. I don't think I even had a mobile. But I've always been proactive. And I think that we have to keep doing that and keep showing up for ourselves and having a go. Because I know the alternative is like, well, I just don't have enough time, or it's not the one right now, or something else needs my focus. I'm not saying that you have to do it immediately, but please keep what you want really close to you so it gets your attention, because I know that loads of people will get it. The people close to you, maybe your other work commitments, your clients, your kids, your family, your sister, whoever it might be, they get lots of you. So keep looking after yourself and topping yourself up as well. Okay, today I want to talk about one of my favorite books, which comes up a lot. I recommend it to loads of my clients. I've bought it for clients in the past, and this is called The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. And he talks about working in your zone of genius. And this is going to be really great, especially if you're feeling a bit stuck, or maybe you're getting to the end of days where you're not necessarily feeling fulfilled, or you're maybe asking questions around the fact like maybe there is a better way that I can do this. And one of the early marketing techniques that I heard was to invite people to have a conversation with you. And people will often say that of like, come and have a conversation, like book in some time in my calendar. And that offering, that invitation works for, there's a car alarm going on, works for certain scenarios. So if somebody, for example, wants to do a collaboration, or they want to know about working together, if they want me to do a speaking gig or something like that, quite often that is a moment for me to say, let's just jump on a chat, and you can talk me through it, and we can see, you can feel that rapport with somebody. That for me is my preference, rather than going back and forth in terms of email and all sorts of things. But what I didn't want to do was to build out certain days in my calendar where I would literally just sit on the phone all day selling to people who weren't that interested and trying to convince people of my work. So I was looking at ways very early on as to how I could bring people into my world, and really focusing on the parts of my business that I want to outsource. So there's definitely things now, 10 years down the line, that I don't want to be doing anymore. Or I am investing in different technology because I know it's going to do that job for me. I am looking, as I mentioned in part one, I'm looking for simplicity. I'm looking at those golden parts of the day where I feel like I'm working in my zone of genius, and I'm doing business and life in a way that feels really good, and not feeling like I'm constantly trying to squeeze myself. I think I mentioned this the other day. How often at school are we told to look at our weaknesses and really go into detail about how you could improve, how you could do better? But actually, what I'm really interested in is how can I amplify the things that I'm really good at? How can I take them to another level that will knock my own socks off and hopefully my clients as well? Number 6, I want to run a business or provide offerings. Wow, I keep saying hello. I keep saying on this, this street that we live on needs to be a one-way street, but our council hasn't made that decision yet. But they will. They will. They will. Where was I? I was talking about easy yeses. Okay, so here's what I mean. An easy yes is subjective. Some people can make decisions like that. Some people know when it's their time. Some people are instant purchasers. Some people just have that like spontaneity thing. Or sometimes people just go, I've looked at all the information and now I'm ready to do that. And there were definitely elements of my business that I wanted to have as an easy yes. Because when I went back to my values, my ethos, I wanted to make lots of my work very accessible for lots of people. And so this part of my shop has become £100 per course. And the reason that I went for that was that £100 feels like something you can visualize. So maybe the way that you see it is 100 £1 coins, or you see 100 as it goes into your bank account on a bank statement, or 5 20s, or 10 £10 notes, or 20 £5 notes, however you see it in that way. But £100 is something that you can maybe visualize. You can also think about how you could get that back. So the investment that you make of £100, you can feel like you're going to get that return on investment. And as I started to delve into my life, which is a sort of what I mentioned earlier about growing and scaling and like taking things like the podcast and various other telly things and stuff, like really to its next level so I can help more people, I wanted to have certain things in my business that people would be able just to purchase and get what they need when they need it. There have been so many times, especially in my parenting journey, I would say, where I just need that thing. Like I remember 7 years ago, not quite now because Oscar's not quite 7, but definitely in this autumn moment, November 2015, I remember like trying to feed him, trying to get his weight up, trying to do all of these things. And when I was reaching out to people to support me, I was doing it from a place of like, oh my, like this baby won't stop crying, or I feel like I'm falling apart. I don't know what I'm doing. Why is my milk not doing what it needs to? All of these, sorry, this is all a bit TMI. All of that sort of information. And I didn't want to get to a point where somebody was like, come and have this 6-month Lux experience and do X, Y, and Z. And like, I'll create this bespoke package where I'll come back and forth and I'll send you this and then you'll send me this, because I wanted that problem solved. I wanted to feed my baby. I wanted him to get his weight up. He was £9.10 when he was born, and he dropped loads of weight, and it was really, really stressful. So that was my pace. That was my capacity. And lots of people, when they look at my work, they have a problem they need solving. Like they might be thinking, my income pie is not working for me. How do I generate cash this month? Or I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Okay, I need a bit of help with goal setting and really finding a structure and a rhythm and a love for my life again. Or maybe it's speaking, whatever it might be. I wanted to have these easy yes products in my business. Equally, that easy yes has gone into how I've put together various things on my website. And so once again, I don't want to get stuck in an email trail. You know, when sometimes you see that email drop and you know that you've been emailing that person and you can see how many interactions that you've had. Like, and if it's like 36 and nobody's decided anything yet, I lose interest. I'm like, are we doing this, or like what is this? What are we doing? Because I don't have time or inclination or energy to sit on an email all day and just kind of email and chat for the sake of it. I know some people love all of that, but for me, again, it's not in my zone of genius. And so I want people to come to my website and go, yeah, she looks like the kind of person. And I've noticed that when I have done that in my business, I've been able to welcome amazing opportunities. Like I remember when Luna was 3 weeks old, and I remember somebody from Stylist got in touch with me to be part of a panel about money. And I was in Pizza Express, like with a very tiny baby and a 3-year-old. And I was thinking, like, look at the state of me. But because I had built that work up, because I had shared it, I became an easy yes. And, you know, it all worked out in the end. I took my mum with me. She loved it. She loves a green room, my mum. So, yeah, that was really great. All right, we're moving on. Number 7, my actual purpose. And this may be good for you as well. I don't know about you, but sometimes I can feel like I'm losing my way a little bit. Or sometimes we'll have a week of family life where everything just goes in a different direction. Or you feel like you're being squeezed, or things happen, or you just get busy doing other stuff. And I think going back to what is my purpose? What am I here to do? And that is, I'm here to help people. Ultimately, I'm here to be useful. And I think sometimes those messages can get lost. And so that was a really great foundational benchmark for me to come back to, where I could ask that simple question. Is this useful? Is this helpful? Is this going to change somebody's life? Is this going to give somebody the next step? And if it wasn't, what was I doing? And so going back to that purpose of your work, why you're here, what's it all about, it will be that moment. It'll be like one of those, I haven't even got one to hand, but I've definitely had them out this morning. You know those under the bed bags that you get the Hoover in, and then suddenly there's a moment where it's like, duh, 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 and then it goes, and then it goes in. That's what you need to come back to sometimes with your actual purpose. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? What's it all about? All that good stuff. Finally, I want to create solutions. And this is a big promise, I know, because people work in different ways, people work at different paces, people are coming to me from different starting points. So therefore, I had to go back to the basics of what am I actually offering. And when I looked at my one-to-one work, one of the things that I specialize in is helping people meet their own expectations. And so in order to do that, I knew that my pre-work needed to be more comprehensive. So I was able to delve in a lot more as to, like, what do you want? How can I help you to gain clarity around this early stage? How can I help you and support you to get specificity around what it is that you actually want to be, do, have, and feel? And that was really game changing for me, because then I knew that if we had this comprehensive list and I'd supported people to get there, it was going to be so much easier in the session. And I guess that was one of those moments of just really, really tightening it up in terms of my one-to-one sales page. The second thing that came up was to go into the detail and give people the information of what they're going to get. What are they going to get? So if you get a box of chocolates, for example, the first thing that I might do is open the lid and like have a little peek, like, oh, they look nice. Oh, and maybe you get that aroma, you get that smell, you get that freshness. The second thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to look at what is in the box and all the different things. And I'm going to check for that second layer. Oh, and if there's a third layer as well, my goodness me. But I want to know what's in the box. I actually don't want mystery boxes. I don't want surprises. I don't want to try something and be like, oh God, oh, what has it got? Is it marzipan? What is that thing? No, I want to know what is in there. And so that analogy really helped me to ground me in that moment and ask myself, what am I offering here? What are people going to get from this experience? Now, some people might say, oh, I didn't get all of the answers of my life plan. Great, don't promise that then. Say what they are going to get. And so, if you want to increase your sales of what it is that you're offering, go back to your own course material. Go back to the things that you've already done. Maybe it's a digital PDF or whatever. What's in there? Remind yourself, jog your own memory. And what I found through this process is that 10 years in, I'm actually not getting comfortable. I am going to a next level of tightening and tweaking and refining and really turning up the brightness on what this is and how I can be useful and all of those good things. That being said, come on over. Come on, check out my shop. You can check out the 100 Quid courses. There's one about goal setting. There is one which is Jam and Plan, which is all about your CEO day. So 4 sessions in there. And also there's one about pricing, packaging. I know, oh, I'm going to sneeze. Am I? No. No. That was a false alarm. Yeah, there's one all about pricing, packaging, how do you put things together, what you're all about, where and how are you going to meet your money goals, all of that good stuff. So you can find that nickyraby.com/shop. You can also go to my Work With Me page where I offer 1, 3, or 6 sessions or experiences for you. And that is nickyraby.com/work with me. If you haven't followed or subscribed or shared or any of that stuff, I would love that to happen. I am so delighted that this week we landed in 2 new territories, New Zealand and South Africa, and to be in those iTunes charts. So if you're listening from those countries, I mean, hello to all of you, obviously. But if you're listening and watching from those countries, how lovely. I've never been to either of those countries. So yeah, that just feels surreal and weird and lovely all at the same time. That my voice is there and my body is not. Sounds like a Christina Aguilera song. On that note, I'm going to say goodbye and send you lots of love, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.